Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, or Hakodash, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, whom this world ignorantly calls God, the Holy One of Israel, coming in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, whom this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, Bahasham, Hakodash, and the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, the 144,000. Those men doing this work in sincerity and in truth across the four corners of the earth. And much love to the 130 you believers out there. I'm the brother Yeshaya, and I pray, Lord willing, that this lesson is edifying through the Spirit. All right. It's been quite a few brothers doing lessons on the expected draft. Okay, because brothers, we always got to make sure we're informed. All right. So the draft has not been enacted. Okay. It is, the House passed the bill ultimately for the selective service for all men that are 18 to 26 years old to be registered in the selective service. So ultimately, the selective service is how they will predetermine the draft. So they, you when you turn 18, technically you're supposed to be registered in it. In case they have to do a draft, they will have all of those men's names listed. All right. And so, technically you say you have to do it. If not, you'll get fined and things like that. You know, so it's a couple of points that I want to get, but I'm going to say the main idea of this, and I'm going to get to those scriptures momentarily. But my brothers who are in the truth that are 18 to 26, you brothers, don't let this the idea of a draft bother you nor concern you. Okay. And I'm gonna read a few of these, and then I'll get into some scriptures and expound on why I'm saying that. All right. So here, this is an article I have here from FoxLA.com. It says while there isn't currently a draft in place, Congress and the president can reinstate the draft and force male citizens to serve in the military in the event of a national emergency or war that all volunteer can't adequately support. So yes, the draft technically isn't on right now, but we know according to prophecy, we know that it will be. Okay, so that's just what's written. You see what I'm saying? So they can say this is how Esau works. The apostles always talk about gradualism. Okay, so why are they talking about this? They're talking about this because they know that the time is going to come where they're going to request conscription. They're going to request men, army age men, war age men, to be drafted into the American military. All right, they know that because they see what's happening on the horizon with all of these different countries, and they know that World War III is on the rise. Right, but they said the Congress and president can reinstate the draft. Right, in the case of a national emergency, so they can do this. They make it sound like they always got to get it passed and all of that. They can do this overnight, man. Okay, they can get that thing passed overnight. All right. It says, what is the draft? The military draft, officially known as the Selective Service System, requires nearly all male U.S. citizens and male immigrants ages 18 to 25, male immigrants. You see how they slid that in there? Oh, male immigrants don't have the same rules and rights, but now they can go ahead and they can fight. Right? 18-year-old males can't drink a beer, but they can go to war and take for their lives, though. You see the hypocrisy here in America. All right. You can't even rent a car most time when you're 18. You gotta at least wait till you're like 21 or 25 to be able to successfully rent a car. But they can send you off to war though. All right. It says the selective service system and the registration requirement for America's young men provide our nation with the structure and a system of guidelines which will provide the most prompt, efficient, and equitable draft possible if the country should need it. Okay, and also you see they're not talking about women. Now, I do think it's highly unlikely they'll have the willing women can sign up, but it's highly unlikely they will draft women. Also, that's kind of according to prophecy. And I'm gonna get that scripture momentarily, but also because they still gotta keep someone home to watch the children and things like that. That's how they still understand order. Send the men to war and have the women stay at home and watch the children. As a matter of fact, even in our ancient customs, we had that as well. Let me see. We had a. It wasn't. They're doing theirs in wickedness though, right? This is Numbers 1 and 3. I'll start at 2. It says, "Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel, excuse me, after their families by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their polls, from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth and war in Israel. Thou and Aaron shall number them by their armies." So in order to go to war as an Israelite, you had to be 20 years old. So that's how you know America is even wicked in that. They're like, "No, we gonna cut it off 2 years, 18 years old." You got to be supposed to be 20 years old to be able to go to war. All right. But America is wicked all around. So why would you expect them? They don't follow biblical laws and outlines. It says, who needs to register? Almost all men who are 18 to 25 years old and live in the U.S. must register for selective service. This includes U.S. citizens, born, dual citizens, and naturalized. You are the citizens who live outside of the country. That's true. Even if you ain't living in the U.S., your ass still got to come back. Immigrants, legal permanent residents, and undocumented immigrants. Undocumented immigrants got to go to war. You see this? This is crazy. But they won't give them certain rights. That's crazy. Refugees and asylum seekers. So if you seeking refuge over here in America or asylum and you within that age, you got to go fight for America. It says transgender people who were assigned male gender at birth, which lets you know they don't really stick by that. You see what I'm saying? It's because if you identify as a woman, you should be able to just be like, "I identify as a woman, I don't got to fight." So they like, "Nah, you still a man, you bring your ass to war." And it says people with disabilities. All right. And also military veterans and military reservists, they require to be with the selective service too, regardless. So let me see here. But that's how you know everything is not about equality, and that transgender stuff, it ain't really full on. You see, because if that's the case, every male in America say they identify as that. All right. So it says here, what if you don't register? According to the law, it is considered a federal felony punishable by a fine up to $250,000 or a prison term of up to 5 years or a combination of both if you fail to register with the selective service. A felony conviction means you lose your right to vote and right to own, possess, and use a firearm, among other things. Okay, so let me get into these scriptures a little bit. First, I'm gonna get 2 Ezra 16-33. It says, "The virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers." So these are all women, okay? It says the virgin shall mourn, that's talking about women, having no bridegrooms, because the bridegrooms are the men. The women shall mourn having no husbands. So your older men, your older women are not going to have any husbands. Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. So the men are not going to, a great portion of men are not going to be around. So also now you see why even men and men of the Lord are even going to be more scarce in these last days, right? It says a man shall be as fine gold. It's because we're talking about, right? Well, first off, we know according to prophecy, according to men doing the work of the Lord, right? But now you see where all of these men, especially women who got men in the world, they're going to be sent off to the war. And trust me, they could up the age. You know what I'm saying? Don't make it think that just where it stops at 25. They realize they're running out of numbers, 18 and 25. They'll try to instate more. They'll jump into 27. They'll jump into 30 to try to get more men to come. They will definitely do that. I don't think that's a final law. Okay. It says in their wars, and then mind you, you're gonna have also men. Some men are gonna be volunteering for that. We talk about the draft, but you are gonna have some men that just want to go and get away. Okay. It says, verse 34. "In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed." And see, this is a future prophecy. "In the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine." So men are going to go off. They're going to fight in this World War III, and they're going to die. Okay, and and many of them are going to die of lack of food. A big problem when it comes to I forget how much money they spend on feeding the military. The money amount is crazy. Like it's wild. And so imagine if they don't have access to food and things like that in those coming times. So a lot of them are going to perish of famine. And then even here in America, right? The Lord's going to bring a famine here in America. So The men that are here is going to perish of famine. Men that are abroad are going to die in war. So then you're going to have the men of the Lord left around with spiritual powers. It's like, you know, not only will we find gold already, Lord willing, we be those men, but now your yesterday's price is not today's price. Your stock just went up, because there's a scarcity of men, and especially righteous men, because you can get a dude in the world that stayed over here, but now, I mean, he got the truth. He still might perish of famine. Okay. This is Revelation 11:14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So World War III, those woes are World War I happened, World War II happened. The third woe is World War III, and the Lord said that's coming. So these wars that it's talking about, the Lord tells us that these last days, these things are going to be happening, man. Okay. So that's in part why I said when I was bringing out all those women that are there, that's how in part, they're not just going to automatically like, all right, all the women got to go fight off in the war. You see what I'm saying? Because they still need somebody here to take care of the homes, to take care of the children, to try to keep the status quo going. All right. But America's going to crumble. Ultimately, America's going to be destroyed, but that's going to be their thought process. And like I said, during this time, all of these women are going to realize they're getting back into their submissive roles, their femininity, because they're not going to want to go to war. They're not going to want to speak about equality. They're not going to sign up. They're not going to want to do all that. Their bodies, their minds are not fit for war. Okay. It says Jeremiah 51 and verse 29, it says, and the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant. Right? That's what's going to happen. Ultimately, America's going to be destroyed, and there's not going to be anybody here. All right? The only people that are going to be saved are the elect getting beamed up, but everybody else is going to be destroyed by missiles. All right? It says the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. So you have stories about, when like Ukraine was enlisting men for their draft. You have men over there breaking their legs and their ankles just to try to avoid going to war. Because this age, Generation Z, Gen Z, man, all they know is goddamn TikTok and McDonald's, bro. They are not trying to go to war. You see what I'm saying? I know the saying goes, hard times make strong men make good times make weak men, and weak men make hard times, and then the cycle repeats itself. You see? So right now we're in a crux now of hard times. You know what I mean? And from weak men, it was weak men making hard times, and now it's hard times. The strong men are going to be the elect, but it's a lot of ultimately the weak men have made hard times now. But now a lot of these men are weak. A lot of these men are feeble. A lot of these men, and I'm not necessarily talking about just being able to fight somebody. I'm talking about mentally strong. To be able to endure something mentally is far more important than being able to do something physically. We've been seeing the demons ramping up. We had this demon at camp the other day. He was a rah, just running his mouth. But, he's like, he's not mentally sound, man. You see what I'm saying? We seeing like our people aren't mentally sound. All right. But it says they remain in their holds. Their might hath failed. They became as women. What does a woman do? A woman, like, she just like want to stay in the house, want to cook in the kitchen. She don't want to even talk about war or fighting. She wants to live comfortably. And so that's how their might is like that. Like a woman, they say, Dave Chappelle made a joke one time. I guess it was like a stud trying to act like a dude, and he said he didn't know at first that it was a woman, but he said he knew when he punched her, it felt like punching through tissue paper. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, we ain't out here trying to fight women, but fighting a woman is typically going to be 1,000 times easier. Like just how our bodies are, our density. You scoop a woman easy, like it's like picking up a child. You see what I'm saying? So like they don't have the same type of masculine strength that strength as a man does. It says they burned her dwelling places, her bars are broken. So ultimately, these people, these Americans, they're not the same type of America it was back in those days, you know. But the reason why I brought this up, so I just wanted to bring those points out. But the reason I brought this lesson because so you younger brothers, and I'm talking about not younger in the spirit, I'm talking younger in the flesh, you know, which also could be around the same anyway. But you know, your age in the flesh don't necessarily determine your age in the spirit. All right, you know, I know brothers that came into the truth when they were 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? So that don't necessarily mean the same, but nonetheless, so brothers, don't you if you're 18 to 26, don't let this concern you. Don't be worried, man. What do they try to draft me? Don't think none of that. First of all, Yahweh Shemal Shah got you. Regardless if that's him just clearing your name and your name don't pop up on the list, regardless you walk up in there and then they say you don't gotta go no more. Or regardless if they pull your name and they say, hey, we're gonna our plan is to send you off to war. Your number one thing is gonna say, hell no, I'm not going. All right. And does this mean that you scared that you won't go? No. It's because this time, if you anybody fighting in this war is gonna fight against you, Yahweh Shai. And you know, I was going into Second Ezra 13 yesterday, you know, but it says they were so afraid, but yet durst fight. They're going to turn their attention toward the heavens. When World War III is going to be breaking out, Yahweh Shai is going to pull up. And they're going to have to fight against Yahweh Shai. So, brothers, we on Yahweh Shai's side, you know? So, you ain't trying to go to war and fight with Yahweh Shai, you know? But just say no. Say, no, I'm not willing to do it. They'll say, okay, we're going to lock you up. We're going to give you a $250,000 fine, and we're going to put your ass in jail. Well, here goes some scriptures, brother. This is Revelation 2:10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Right? So don't even be afraid what Esau is trying to bring. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. You see? So this is how you know the devil is a man. It says the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Who's casting people into prison? The so-called white man, predominantly. You know, even if a so-called black man did it, the so-called white man, the police agency is a Edomite run agency. That is not, they just hire our people as ponies, you know, as puppets. But that's those are Edomite institutions. Okay, so regardless of if Jake do it, it's still Esau, Edom behind it. Behold, the devil shall cast. Ain't no Jake behind the United States draft. You know, ain't no black man like, hey, yo, we calling the shots for how this draft gonna go on. That's no. That's Edomite. It says, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. And this tribulation 10 days goes into completion, you know, or perfection. So it doesn't, it could be, you could be in there 5 days. You could be in there 10 days. You can be in there 6 months. You can be in there a year, brother. Right? But at the end of the day, it says, ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So the Lord said, even if you got to die, right? He said he going to give you a crown of life. But the thing is, brothers, when you in there, they might try to, and this could happen to any of us, you know, FEMA camp, this could happen to any of us. But I'm just trying to give a faith booster for you brothers who might feel like you're in this zone for this, you know. But it says they might try to give you a C-hip. You got to say, hell no. You know, but you be faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life. It says, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. So you don't take that C-hip, and you stand there, and you stand by Yahweh Shemel Shah, strive for the Lord unto death, and he shall fight for thee, man. Okay? But on the flip side, many of our forefathers was shown favor in prisons. Many of our forefathers were broken free from prisons. So I just wanted to get some scriptures on that. This is Genesis 39:21. It says, but the Lord Yahweh was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. Okay, so Joseph was shown mercy and favor in while he was in jail, man. All right. Verse 23 says, the keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him. And that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. So even when he was in jail, the Lord, can you imagine that? He in jail winning. Joseph was in jail winning, bro. You see? And so that could happen for our men too, being able to be shown favor and mercy while brothers are in those positions. So whatever happens, don't let it phase you. This is Acts 5:19. It says, "But the angel of the Lord by." Oh, and I meant to mention Jeremiah, because Jeremiah was also shown favor. Let me tap that real quick. Jeremiah was shown favor in the prison as well, and so little things like this is why it's important to know the history of our forefathers, and things that happened unto them. You know, I was gonna get that scripture earlier, but actually, let me try this real quick, Salakia. But when our forefathers were put in these positions, they had to have faith, and that's what brothers are gonna have to have when these times come, right? This is Jeremiah 33. Jeremiah 33 and 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came into Jeremiah the second time while he was yet shut up in the court of the prison. Right? So Jeremiah said he was in that low dungeon, okay, while he was in prison. But he had much faith, and he believed in Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. And I believe he was shown mercy too. They lifted him up out of there with the cords. I believe he was an Ethiopian or the eunuch, right? Was showing favor. He was the keeper of the guard. Excuse me. He was the keeper of the guard. He was showing Jeremiah love. He was keeping him out of the way. Let me see. It might not be that one. I can't find the exact verse right now, so forgive me. If a brother want to put it in the comment board, feel free. Matter of fact, let me see this. That might not be the same story either. Yeah, that's not the same story either. But nonetheless, Jeremiah was shown favor in the prison. They eventually ended up pulling him up out of there, up out of the pit. And, in some ways he was taken care of, even though he was put in a bad position. Okay. And let me see. Meyer. It be bothering me when I can't find something. I'm going to wrap it up soon, though. You only got a couple more. This is Jeremiah 38 and verse. I'm going to start at 5. It says, "Then Zedekiah the king said, Behold, he is in your hand, for the king is not he that can do anything against you. Then they took Jeremiah and cast him into the dungeon of Malchiah, the son of Hamelech, that was in the court of the prison. And they let down Jeremiah with cords. And in the dungeon there was no water, but mire." So Jeremiah sunk in the mire. So it was like mud and dirt, that he went down in, But it says, "Now when Ebed-Melech," which is Ibad-Malach, servant of the king, the Ethiopian, one of the eunuchs, which was in the king's house, heard that they had put Jeremiah in the dungeon, the king then sitting in the gate of Benjamin, Ebed-Melech went forth out of the king's house and spake to the king, saying, My lord the king, these men have done evil in all that they have done to Jeremiah the prophet, whom they have cast into the dungeon, and he is like to die for hunger in the place where he is, for there is no more bread in the city. So he's vouching on the behalf of Jeremiah to the king, man. All right, that's powerful. Okay, that was the Lord intervening. It says, "Then the king commanded Ebed-Melech the Ethiopian, saying, Take from hence 30 men with thee, and take up Jeremiah the prophet out of the dungeon before he die." So the king allowed him to go be saved through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, of course. So Ebed-Melech took the men with him and went into the house of the king under the treasury, and took thence old cast clouts and old rotten rags, and let them down by cords into the dungeon of Jeremiah. That's how you know this place was dark. It was deep. They had to get all of these rags and things to tie up just to get him out, man. All right. And they had to put him up under his arms. And he say he took 30 men with him, man. That he was deep down there. It says, "And Ebed-Melech the Ethiopian said unto Jeremiah, Put now these old cast clouts and rotten rags under thine armholes, under the cords. And Jeremiah did so. So they drew up Jeremiah with cords and took him up out of the dungeon. And Jeremiah remained in the court of the prison." Right? So he was able to, he started getting certain favors. That itself, saving his life, was a favor from Yahweh Shem Shai. You know, so these are the kinds of things brothers just gonna have to keep in mind. It says wisdom and knowledge shall be our stability in those times. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to Acts. This is Acts 5:19. But the angel of the Lord by night opened the prison doors and brought them forth. Acts 12:7, it says, and behold, the angel of the Lord came upon him, and a light shined in the prison, and he smote Peter on the side. This is an angel, and raised him up, saying, arise up quickly, and his chains fell off from his hands, man. You see that? So can you imagine being in jail, angel come and open the doors, then smite your hands, chains fall off, and you about to get up out of there? You know, that's beautiful, man. Acts 12:17 says, but he beckoning unto them with the hand to hold their peace, declared unto them how the Lord had brought him out of the prison. And he said, go show these things unto James and to the brethren. And he departed and went to another place. See, this is a testimony for Yahweh Shema Shai, the great things that he did for to be able to save him out of that jail. So the Lord was always rescuing his men from dangerous situations. Even Daniel in the lion's den, that was a prison. Okay, and he said that the lions didn't touch him, and Habakkuk came to bring food to him. So the Lord was always saving our brothers, our forefathers, in positions of difficulty, in prison situations. So brothers, don't let it phase you. Just deny it. Say I'm not going. Say I'm not taking the C-hip, right? And just keep praying to Yahweh Shema Shai. He gonna help you and he gonna deliver you one way or another, brother. You know what I'm saying? So keep the faith. I just wanted to get that out there. Lord willing, these prophecies come through sooner and sooner. The hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, and Lord willing, World War III get to popping more and more rapidly, And Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and mercy to the elect. Until next time.